Namaste. I'm here again.
You are here again, and welcome.
So, it's been another eventful week in my life, and the building of energy, and today really feels like a really stabilizing energy on this planet. I really feel like my question has to do with how economics affect young people in terms of, we grow the light in a spiritual way, but if we're not grounded into the physical presence, sometimes we find that very destabilizing as young people. And our world has so much debt. It's taken me a large number of years to start to build security and comfort and a family and a house and beautiful things. As a young man, I was super troubled by not having that stability. If your parents aren't there to totally pay for college, just the financial burden, how that feeds in to this. And I guess I'm just kind of questioning in terms of for people to anchor their stability.
Well, I want you to take a deep breath first. Just take a deep breath and really anchor into the gift of the presence of today and those of us that are gathered with you right now.
And I think we all can offer a little bit of sharing that you may find useful. Brian, one of the things that you said is that as a younger man, basically what I heard you say is I found my way. I learned how to create some security and stability. And one of the things that's happening is a lot of the old tools and old forms of stability are not what we're hoping them to be.
Well, we're in a state of fluid transition.
And that to anchor oneself in the central energy of your divinity and go from that place, access the wisdom that will guide you, that will be a universal and permanent way to carry oneself.
Well, absolutely. And, we'll invite Patricia in a moment. But one of the things that I would like to share with you, my love, is that everything out there is part of your journey. It's all part of the journey. And so if we stabilize in our divine-centered trust, if we stabilize in the love that is pouring through us and inviting us, and if we invoke that into our lives, kind of like our earlier caller today, these questions become answered through our lives, through our life experience. We have our needs met. We have what we need to continue our journey placed in front of us, and we're able to navigate that energy beautifully. And it begins, I love your word, it begins with stabilizing ourselves in our divine presence.
And I'll say one more thing, and then I'll invite Patricia to contribute as she feels called. Brian, your children are given to you because they're there for your wisdom as well, meaning there's usually a contract between parent and child, and you have to trust that you are enough, and that as you find your answers, your pathway, that you are instructing them in a good way. And so I invite you to model your process openly to your children, so that they may discover how to find that within themselves.
So, Patricia, did you want to add anything to that?
Yes, I'd love to. The beings of light are saying at this time that one of the greatest needs of the hour is for humanity to reclaim the infinite abundance of God in our lives, because as we reach up in consciousness, just as Tara mentioned earlier on her call, we are drawing forth the viable solutions that can solve all of the maladies in the physical plane. And if the only people we can have funding are people that are committed to not developing those things, then we are creating this block. And so one of the reasons that there is so much focus on lack and limitation at this time is because for eons of time we've been dealing with poverty consciousness. So everything that conflicts with the infinite flow of God's abundance, which is our divine birthright, is being pushed to the surface to be transmuted. And one of our greatest problems is that because of a lack of understanding, the world religions have been programming us into this worthless sinner, worm in the dust. Mm-hmm. Somehow we've taken vows of celibacy and vows of poverty and gone around in ashes and sackcloth and begging bowls and self-flagellation, believing through our etheric records that somehow poverty is a virtue. So now this is becoming a major focus so that we will heal it and transcend it. And working with the violet flame to transmute poverty consciousness, every thought, word, action, or feeling we've ever released in any time frame or dimension, known or unknown, vibrating with the frequency of lack, limitation, and poverty consciousness, is one of the most powerful things we can do to raise our head above this consciousness so that we can start opening to that infinite flow of the God supply of all good things.
Beautifully said.
Beautifully said. And thank you, Brian, for calling. We have so many other callers. Let's jump to another one.
Thank you, Brian. And let's jump over to line 4, and we'll welcome Terry into the conversation.
Namaste, Terry. Welcome to Shrink Here Live.
Hi. Thank you so much. I just want to say thank you to all three of you for bringing this beautiful light into the world. Patricia, I've been following you for many, many years now. And I work with the violet flame. I am a light worker. I am also meditating with everybody and bringing ascension to the earth, which is inevitable, and it's happening. It's evolution, and everything is changing all the time. I just was wondering, I have pretty much everything going for me. I'm not rich. I don't want to be rich. But spiritually, I think I'm doing pretty well, and I live it within the unity consciousness that we're all created and we're all equal and we're all the same. But recently, I had a suicide in the family, and that really threw me off my path. I know that there's a lot of people that I've heard from many teachers that they just can't seem to handle the light that's coming in right now. And, you always have that feeling of guilt. There's always going to be some guilt because, you kind of feel like you did everything you could for this person, but you couldn't really put them in the light. They didn't want anything to do with it. And even though, I was trying to emulate being in the light, my question, or actually I'm just asking for wisdom and comments here, I'm trying to move from New Jersey out west. I feel like I'm being led to be out there. And, I had my home for sale, and then this happens to me, so it kind of threw me off, and I'm just wondering of any kind of insight that you might be able to pull into this situation.
Well, I agree with you. I think there are a lot of people that are having this overwhelming call to go home. And when they're dealing with a lot of pain in their life, they think they have to leave their physical body to do that. But the reason we have this call to go home is because we are going home. The difference is this time we're taking the earth and all life with us. And the only way we leave the physical plane prematurely is through suicide. Every other way is something that we've agreed through some level. And sometimes even maybe suicide is that. But I was a marriage and family counselor for 20 years, and this came up a lot, so I did a lot of research into the inner realms of truth to find out about that. And of course, most people that are committing suicide just want the pain to stop. And what they realize, the second that they do that, they realize we're never given anything that we can't handle, and suicide is a choice, and every single person that's ever committed suicide, if they would have stayed in their body, they would have seen that they were going to make it through that challenge. It wasn't going to kill them. They were going to survive that challenge. So what happens is, in this incredible gift of divine grace and mercy, these souls are taken into the inner schools of learning. And for instance, if they commit suicide at 60 and their original life path was that they were to leave the physical plane at 60, if they commit suicide at 40 rather, and they were going to leave at 60, they're shown what opportunities they were going to be presented with and how they were going to grow and learn for that 20 years. They volunteer to go into the inner realms, and they go through the same life experiences. This time, they don't have physical bodies, so they don't even have the peace of sleep. They're still dealing with the same challenges and the same experiences because that's how they're growing and learning. And when they complete that, when they get to the 60-year period in that timeless, spaceless moment, they then get to move on into the inner planes as they would through the normal process of death. And this is a wonderful, merciful opportunity for them to move forward in the light. So we need to love these souls. We need to send them our compassion. We need to ask Archangel Michael and all of the legions of light to assist them through their I Am presence. And they're going to be just fine, just like we all are. There's no such thing as death. There's no such thing as hell. All of these things that the misinformation and disinformation that creates so much fear. And the reality is, if there's anybody in the physical plane that could have or was supposed to stop that, they would have.
You know, Terry, I love what Patricia's sharing with you. And one of the things that I want to offer to you is you also talked about your move and having your house for sale and the things that you had in place and your contentment with your spiritual journey. And one of the reminders, and it's funny, you have a beautiful archangel, it looks like Michael to me, poking you and laughing with you and saying right now, remember, beloved, you are loved so much that the universe will always ask, are you sure you're ready? And so part of this experience was to really offer you a depth of anchoring your spiritual tenacity, your divine journey. You are ready. And when we declare this through me, it was the universe's way of bringing forward for you. It's like that final piece. It's like that 11 o'clock moment bringing you home to 12 o'clock that says, yes, you are ready. And now you can be even clearer. So everything for you is going to, it's very much like dominoes falling. It's going to click, 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 click very quickly, including the sale of your house, which will offer you the opportunity to fly and to honor this beautiful journey, as Patricia just so beautifully described, to honor the journey that this beautiful person in your family also assisted you in your journey. And so we're so happy that you called today. Thank you, beloved, for sharing.
Thank you so much. And such beautiful words of wisdom from both of you. What can I say? Just thank you so much. And I have been working with Archangel Michael, and the person that died was named Michael also, and was a young man, 27 years old. Mm-hmm. But I have also gotten these messages that it was kind of like he really couldn't deal with life, and I think he kind of knew that he was holding me back, and he knew that spiritually I was meant to be somewhere else, and so I agree with everything. Thank you so much. So
bring your hand to your heart. Yeah, bring your hand to your heart. And one of the things that's beautiful is bring your hand to your heart, take in a smile as you feel Patricia, Sri, and I loving you right now. Feel that love come into your heart. And as you take in a deep breath, when you exhale, exhale with a smile and the reassurance that everything is really divinely guided. And thank you, beloved. We have another caller, so we're going to say goodbye. And thank you again, Angel. Namaste.
You know, we have time to take one more call.
Wow, let's do that.
Holly has been patiently standing by.
Oh, bless your heart, Holly.
So welcome to the show.
It's Holly. Hi.
Hi.
Hi,
sweetheart.
I am Polly from Florida. I had a wonderful gift last year to be able to leave my corporate company and spend the year helping my aunt make her transition. It was the most fabulous 11 months of wisdom and love and being with her when she passed.
What a
However,
gift.
The universe kind of decided that I got to grow a little bit more because in the last 2 months I buried 4 more family members. So I've lost 5 people very, very close to me in 2 months. And my my Capricorn business mind says, okay, back on the horse. Let's just keep going. You've done this. You know what you need to do. Let's get right back to reading, right back to writing, right back to speaking. And I start, and I'm like blank.
Yeah.
I'm just, and I am enrolled in Patricia's event, the Illumination event in September. I'm going with my best friend from Chicago. And all of a sudden, I'm kind of at the point of, I'm not used to this. I'm used to 12 hours a day working and loving my job and being a writer and a speaker, and I'm not used to the blank space. So my question is,
maybe that's why this is being given
to
you. Maybe this is a gift to you to just be, to assimilate this energy. You know, the out breath is the activity, but we also need the balance of the divine feminine's love of the in breath, going into the silence. And maybe this is a time for you to just be, and to be with these loved ones. There's no such thing as death. There's no separation. They're as close as our thoughts. All we have to do is think of them, and it's like sending them a text message in today's lingo. And they are very aware of you. So just why don't you give yourself some time to heal and some time to just be?
Okay, wonderful. Thank you
Words of
very
wisdom,
much.
indeed.
Yeah, what a gift.
You know, oftentimes in our life path, we need to have a little mercy on ourselves.
Absolutely.
And recognize that as the divinity is emerging ever more clearly, our humanity also needs compassion.
Right. So thank you for calling, dear one. And wow, look at how quickly, you know, talk about working in quantum space. When we let go of the illusion, time becomes fluid, and there it is.
And so as we come to a close for today, I want to thank our guest, Patricia Cota-Robles. And Patricia, we have just 1 minute left. If you would like to offer a summation, a blessing, an invitation, or an ad, anything you like, it's your minute.
Whatever
Go.
your heart would like.
Okay, well, I just want to say how very grateful I am for both of you and the light you're adding to the world. And on my website, you can sign up to receive a free monthly sharing from the Company of Heaven that I send out every month. And there's videos, there's webinars, all types of free things, years worth of radio shows and newsletters that you can have lots of information. We offer free seminars around the country, and you can certainly find out if we're going to be in your area. And I just want to tell everybody how very, very grateful I am that you're remembering who you are and that you're opening up to be that open door for the light of God that's transforming this planet. God bless you all.
Thank you so much.
Such beautiful words. Thank you.
Eraofpeace.org.
Yes.
And for all of our listeners, just feel the embrace around you now. Take in that breath. And we want to remind you that until we have the opportunity to be with you in this way again, may you trust, may you know that all is truly well.
Thank you for joining us at Free and Pure Live. To have your questions answered, send us an email to guest@shreeandkiraradio.com and check out more information at shreeandkira.com. See you next week. Namaste.